Here's how we made a Star Guardian skin for League's new champion, Aurora. So Aurora is League of Legends' latest champion. She's a bunny mage, she carries a magical wand, and she's best friends with Ornn. The champion is due to hit live servers on the 17th of July, along with her Anima Squad skin, Battle Bunny Aurora, which we thought was quite weird, since she's a bunny already, why would they make her another animal skin? Anyhow, this was the perfect reason for us to make her another skin. We did initially make a list of skins that we wanted to do for her. Since Star Guardian was the most popular out of them all, we chose this. So, starting with the idea, we looked at the main inspirations for the Star Guardian skins and deconstructed them to use for our skin. This left us with three main elements, which is the high school theme, the magical girl theme, and lots of stars and glitter. This meant for our skin to fit in, it had to consist of a lot of these elements. Our early drafts were concepts that mixed both high fantasy and more high school aesthetics. We eventually chose the high fantasy one as we had way more flexibility with this design and what we could do with it to take it to the next level. And of course, keeping in mind that the Battle Academia skin line also exists, which follows similar themes and aesthetics. Once we chose a design that we liked from the early concepts, it was time to finalize it. So for this, we looked at some elements we might want to switch around or improve, one of which being making the hat a bit less dramatic so it takes away less from the silhouette of her ears, and of course the colors. For this particular design, we made 4 color iterations. Many of the recent Star Guardian skins used a combination of colors, in comparison to the first generation, which focused on primarily one color, which was used to represent each Star Guardian individually. We wanted to bring this back with this skin, so we looked for colors that weren't used as much or weren't used in the same shade. As well as that, it was important that they contrast well with Aurora's features. In the end, we really liked how the lime green and the lilac one looked. Since the green is more contrasty and pops a bit more, we chose it, but still keeping the purple/lilac as her accent color. Now it was time for us to move to the in-game concept. The main thing with creating the in-game design is to match the style of the game, as while creating the final concept is not necessarily needed. This also meant refining the pose and the perspective, as the game is a top-down view, so we had to make sure the character is posed like this. In the time of making this, the champion trailer, however, was not released. So this meant we had to look at screenshots and early footage of the champion for reference of her pose. One very important thing here is to maintain the distinctness of the silhouette. This means that when you look at the silhouette of the champion itself, you can tell exactly who they are. It's also important for looking at things like the key elements and if the champion is dangerous or not. If you want more information on this, feel free to check out our mini-series on YouTube, Characterized, where we explore this in more detail. Otherwise, the rest of the process remained as usual. We start with the sketch, then we refine it, then we move on to doing the grayscale, then we do the colors, then we render them, and then finally we're done. However, there's still a few more steps left. Towards the end, we shifted our idea to making her a magician, as we thought it brings something new to her character and is way more interesting. As with champions like this, it's very easy to overdo a concept, to a point where it no longer feels original and gets quite boring. Of course, she still has to be recognizable, which is why we still chose something that relates to magic, as it's always okay to kind of alter the concept a bit, just to make it a bit more interesting. Like for example, the character of Nico. Her design primarily focuses on her being a chameleon. However, in various skins, she appears as different creatures. Like in the Bewitching skin line, she's a cat, and in the Street Demon skin line, she is a kappa. So back to the skin. Another thing to add to her skin is her cute little Star Guardian pet. We did stick to the rabbit theme used in her abilities, but we made 2 versions where one is covered and one is not. Kind of like a magician revealing a rabbit from its hat for the final performance. Except in this case, the rabbit is also a magician revealing itself. If you're liking this video so far, make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned to the end, where we will reveal the final result and the splash art. So now, since that was done, it was time for us to move on to the emote. So the emotes also have their own unique style, and recently they've followed a lot of very popular memes. So we also chose one for ours, and I'm sure you can guess where we got this from. And here is the final result of the in-game design. And finally, here is the splash art we made for this skin. Let us know what you think about this design, and feel free to leave us any suggestions for our next video. Thank you for watching.